Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of StarCraft Inc. I'm SSNYorosmai. I'm adjusting my audio setting because currently it is too loud. And with me today is a special guest, SSNYorosmai. Yorosmai, how are you?
Hello, I'm good.
Yorosmai is good. 10 seconds ago, he showed me a furry penis, and I'm not really sure if it was his penis. So, trying to move past that, we brought you a StarCraft game between TSL Polt and Millennium Stephano. Now, this is a good game for me to cast with Yorosmai because he's a Zerg player, he's a talented Zerg player, and Stephano is a very unique Zerg player indeed. And he's playing against TSL Polt, and I have a special passion for hating Terran because I can't beat them on the ladder. Now, it's not a biased hate. I think they're balanced, but they make me want to cry, and I think about them at night, and it keeps me awake, and my girlfriend has to hold me close. But the important thing is, me and Yorosmai can do some Team Terran hating, and the reason I'm saying that is because today I was asked to cast some Zerg games, so we're on Team Zerg today. How do you feel about that, Yorosmai?
Zerg is a pretty good race, but Terran is better. No, don't want to start the balance.
No balance fights. I think a lot of people are hating on Terran because they have a lot of representation in tournaments and GSL and stuff like that. But I think a lot of players are a lot of Zerg are showing up in the tournaments nowadays too, and Huck is actually the only foreign player left in GSL, and he plays Protoss, so sporting the Protoss team. And I have no feelings towards Terran in a balanced sense whatsoever. They just confuse the hell out of me. So anyway, moving past our own personal experiences on the ladder, tell me about TSL Polt, because to be honest, I haven't heard much of him. I know you mentioned a couple seconds ago to me off the cast that he just recently won an MLG, did you say?
He won Winter Assembly, which I don't think that's actually an MLG. I'm not positive on that. I don't keep up with that tournament, although I think it was sponsored by Asus or something.
Okay, yeah, I don't really know who sponsors the tournament. Kind of to not ruin something, but give you a little bit of an idea, this match is actually a part of the Winter Assembly tournament, but that doesn't tell you whether Polt wins this game despite winning the tournament, because he did not cold turkey win the matches against Stephano. It was a best of 5, right?
I think it was a best of 7 or 9. Although I may be wrong about that. We'll have to see.
Alright, so this is a match in the best of series between TSL Polt and Millennium Stephano, and in no way does that indicate whether or not TSL Polt wins this match. We do see a bit of a bunker rush against Stephano's early natural, but there is a cancel because obviously it's scouted and denied by drones and yada yada yada. And nothing out of the ordinary as TSL Polt takes his own early expansion as well. That is a 1-Rax expand with double gas. What do you think is going to come out of that, Yorosmai?
It's probably going to be a few more Marines and a transition to Reactor Hellions, just to get up some Hellions to deal with any Baneling busts, and to get map control. Also, we only saw Stephano pull four drones for that bunker rush, because if you're watching the Overlord, it scouted the gas, and seeing a gas, you know it's not some 2-Rax. They can't actually afford a gas and a 2-Rax.
He scouted both gas, you said?
He scouted one of them, I think. Yeah, just one.
Going to Stephano vision, yeah, we've only got one gas. So you say, so we're looking at this game from a Zerg point of view, just because, I've got you here for guest commentary, and because I'm kind of catering to the Zerg fans on my channel. So you say, as a Zerg player, you scout that single gas, and that tells you that he can't go 2-Rax and expand?
Yeah, or even just, the gas, it stops the 2-Rax, and that's really the only thing you should be scared of as Zerg. Like a 1-Rax pressure, they can do damage if they're good, which Polt definitely is good, but Stephano is good as well, and he should be able to hold that off, and he did fairly easily.
Alright, fair enough. We are seeing TSL Polt take a 3rd, actually, within the base, and that might just turn into, like, kind of a macro command center, or he has the option of taking that really close 3rd there on the ground. Do you think it's wise as a Terran player to take that 3rd right away, or should it stay in the base just for extra mules for a while?
Grabbing the command center fairly quickly is definitely a good play because if you look at the positioning of this, a scouting overlord wouldn't be able to spot that unless they're coming in from around the center of the map, which you can't really hide overlords in the center of the map. So the positioning of it, Zerg can't scout. And the only way Zerg's really going to punish it is if he can scout it, unless he's going for some blind roachling all in. But with the Hellions for map control, he should be able to see that, and he is getting his tech lab on his factory now for siege tanks to also hold that off.
Fair enough. We do see those Hellions kind of trolling around the map, looking for a hidden expansion on the far remote position. I want to quickly ask you about Zerg players taking distant expansions. I know it's very common for the Zerg player to take his natural, right away, and then an early third. But how do you feel about remote expansions if he took the very bottom right corner instead of his natural third there?
With Hellions on the map, it'd be a little bit risky because he couldn't really defend it too well since he's only going to have speedlings for a bit here. So he could do it maybe if he went roaches, although if the Terran player is scouting with his Hellions, then he should notice that it's there. Also,
Fair.
Stephano was more known in ZVT for his Ling Infestor play, into sometimes Ultras even, which are... He does it very well, he has very smooth transitions, but in this game we see him throwing up the Spire here. So he could be assuming that Polt knows his style and trying to metagame him here or something.
Fair enough. Do you feel that Stephano's regular style of play with those infestors into Ultralists has an obvious flaw? Is it something that TSL Polt could really hard counter straight up, or do you think Millennium Stephano is overthinking this by changing his strat?
It definitely... He definitely will... Well, he probably won't have turrets up in time if he's expecting infestors. And also with the... whatchamacallit... With the no third, it would probably seem like there's going to be some infestor play because infestor is more 2-base heavy. So he's probably not going to have turrets up in time, which will make the meta stronger, but to your question of whether or not the infestors can really be hard countered, it's not exactly. I mean, there's some strong strategies against it, but it's not just a straight hard counter.
Oh, nice little Baneling smash in the middle of the map on those Hellions. Do you feel that the mass link count here screams Muta?
Mass link counts usually scream more infestors from what I've seen, because you stay on that 2-base and you get that macro hatch up faster with the Ling Infestor as opposed to Muta. So again, maybe trying to metagame Polt here.
Would you not say that the kind of the scouting information that you would see as a Terran player looking at Zerg, would the scouting information not be similar to Muta?
Well, I mean, they're both fairly similar because you get your lair up and you normally want to get at least one upgrade. I don't know if he's actually scouted the +1 Carapace finishing, but it is going to look pretty similar.
So as Stephano kind of brings these Muta into Polt's base, we're seeing Polt very unprepared for this. He does have the armory, so he could go Thor if he wants to, but it doesn't look like the direction he's going to go. He wants that Marine tank, as you see him slap on a lot of barracks, and a lot of Marines come to meet these the Mutalisks. And as we see Stephano starting to contain Polt, he's bringing his Lings forward and taking 2 expansions. So it looks like he's really going to try to punish this multiple expansion, but good positions by siege tanks, good positioning of siege tanks by Polt on the high ground there really stops the Zerg player from punishing this third. He can stop mining there for a little bit, but really it's up to the Muta to kill this command center because the Lings can't even get close.
Will he actually get it here? There are some yeah, he does get driven off.
Now, I don't know if that was very cost-effective for our Zerg player here. I don't think he lost too many Muta, though. He did lose all his Lings, which, you can say what you like about Lings. They're kind of a dime a dozen, but he didn't really do any damage.
Well, he did kill some SCVs there, both with the Muta harass and the Lings running into the third, because when they're repairing, those, the splash damage from the Mutas and the Lings are going to kill some SCVs. So he did get some, although...
It's true, and as he stops mining to repair, he's also spending the money on repairing. So at anything, it's like, lost mining time. And as he is taking that double expand, he's helping himself pull ahead. You can see him splitting his saturation up amongst the 2 new bases, and quite a few drones on there already. And the longer TSL Polt has to play defensively, the farther Stephano can get himself ahead.
We also see Stephano's +1 about to finish, while Polt's 2-2 is getting close to finishing, going for that double engineering bay, and because of it, his starport is just finishing up and getting that reactor now. His gas count has been devoted to upgrades and 1 factory tanks to this point.
Yeah, we're seeing weapons 1 on the siege tanks as well. So definitely an upgrade game for Polt. And as a Zerg player, how do you feel about that?
I feel like the Ling Infestor is a better way to deal with the double engineering bay. Talking is hard.
Those gay engineers.
And because you get those double evos going pretty close to around the time when they're doing double engineering bay, which obviously you can't really scout that too well, but I feel like he just switching into muted this game maybe.
We got some free supply depots there. That was yummy, and and none of them were cancelled, so 300 minerals instantly, plus the lost supply time. Like, he wanted to get those up because he's pumping units like there's no tomorrow right now.
Yeah.
And he does get 1 muta. TSL Polt stimming though with no medevac, so really softening his army. I hear a medevac. Where's a medevac? Oh, there we go. Just 1 single one by the 3rd. Now, as a Terran player, how do you feel that Polt should be responding? Do you think he's doing this properly? Does he need Vikings? Does he need Thor? Or is Marine Tank good enough?
I feel like he's responding properly with his mutilist count. It's still at 15 on the ones harassing. More on the way, but with 15 and under, you can defend with Marines. Once it starts getting up into those 20s, then you start needing Thors. But the 1 turret in the middle line, he can repair that if he needs to, and adding a few more turrets here and there, and just position his Marines well. I feel like he's reacting very well.
And as a Zerg player, should he be anticipating kind of a... what are you expecting here as a Zerg player? What's your next step, I guess I'm asking? He's got these muta, he's got the map control of his creep spread. We're seeing Polt kind of push over into his side of the map now. But what should Stephano's next plan be, next step?
There are 2 things he can do here. He can go for the mass Ling Bling, which he's doing right here with some muta, or he could have done a faster tech to Broodlords, although he's staying on that lair tech, so he's going to try and just swarm this army as opposed to out-tech it, and then from there tech into Broodlords with a huge army advantage.
Now, just kind of throw this out there to our viewers. Neither of us have seen this game. Like, I mean, you haven't seen this game, have you?
I don't think so. If I have, I don't remember it at all.
I have not seen this game. We are seeing a swarm of Lings just engulf TSL Polt's forwarding position on this map. Too many Lings, too many Banelings. There are huge upgrades, though, on those Marines. We saw so many Lings go down to what seemed like far less an army. And now we are seeing Stephano actually push all the way back to Polt's base, but still with that brilliant siege tank position on the high ground, he still will only get as far as the 3rd and probably will not get any farther. 1 medevac goes down, that siege tank on the high ground goes down. Those muta are definitely paying for themselves as Millennium Stephano is able to pick apart that army that was out in the middle of the map. We do see a Thor, which is going to punish those muta until they magic box. Banelings on the ground taking out the Marines that were trying to kill the muta, and Lings just swallowing every bit of Marines that pour from TSL Polt's base. Do you think Polt can come back from this?
I don't really think so. I mean, killing that 4th command center, not even a cancel, killing all the SCVs at the 3rd, killing the army. He's on 4 base now, he's getting his hive going. I think Stephano's really in a good position here. Unless Polt makes a miracle comeback, then Stephano probably will win this game. Also even killing the 3rd command center. Polt forced to lift his main to try and get his economy back on track.
Now, is there a next decision here that could really be bad for Stephano, like overexpanding? Should he just commit to building army now? Should he take expansions to consolidate his lead? Or just, like, we're seeing a big engagement here in the middle, but we're seeing Polt actually pump out quite a scary army. Is there any bad move that, might not immediately seem like a bad move that Stephano could make right now? I mean, obviously, suiciding his muta into the Thor is a bad move, but I mean, are there any macro decisions that would be bad ones?
Overcommitting here and over-droning are about the only 2 he could make. He is getting his tech up, and he's staying fairly fairly, or he's getting his upgrades fairly well. Again, it is 3-3 versus 2-1, but he's getting his +2, and 2-2 versus 3-3 isn't too bad.
Did you just see the Baneling landmine that I saw?
I heard a baneling noise, but I didn't see how many Marines died.
Oh, like a whole Brood War control group.
Oh man, Brood War control groups. See Polt poking down at the 5th base? Yeah, 5th base down here on the right. He has control of the center, so he can do that. Stephano reacting well though, killing it with his wings.
Yeah, I really like the switch to infestors that we just saw, and I think that was definitely a good decision. We're seeing Muta come into the back and get the entire line that is left of TSL Polt. Oh my god. And I mean, what can Polt do? His tanks are stuck in the middle, his Thor are stuck in the middle, all his SCVs are just kind of there to fend for themselves, and they can't shoot up.
Well, he does have 3-3 Marines versus those, only +2 Muta, so he does have, or his Marines should be able to deal with this if they're in position, but right there he got caught out of position, so maybe adding a few more turrets or leaving a few more Marines behind should deal with that better. You see the 5th base here getting sniped by just a couple Marines, around 7, and Polt pushing forward onto the creep a little bit, sieging up his tanks and scanning to get rid of tumors.
What do you, as a Zerg player, when a Terran player is creeping up the map like this, what do you look for when you're trying to decide whether to do a run-by or not?
Normally tank positioning, how many units you lose doing it, and what bases you can lose doing it. So in this case, he can lose 2 bases, but considering Polt's only on 1.5 here, he's trying to do these run-bys, although the army is too well positioned, so he needs to be careful about that.
When do you see like a... I mean, obviously if you do a run-by, he has the option to try and base trade you, and we all know it's extremely hard to base trade a Terran because they can lift off, they can wall off, all those things. When do you know that you can absolutely get away with it?
Normally if you have infestors and spines, or infestors and broodlords, you can base trade fairly well, because your defense is going to be so cost efficient. We see broodlords morphing here, a couple getting sniped, only 2 left, 2 more on the way.
Wow, way more than enough Banelings to take out this Thor, and now pretty much the siege tanks are naked. Although there's a big reinforcement of TSL Polt on the bottom with a few Marines and tanks, those Muta should not be stepping forward because they will be killed by the Marines. I also feel that now we're seeing Stephano get a little far out with his broodlords. He does have infestors to protect them, but there are a lot of Marines now. I would say a lot of Zerg players have a problem of bringing their broodlords too far out like this, and they get punished for it. We're seeing Stephano really have a hard time defending this, what seems like just a desperate last push from TSL Polt, and Stephano actually GG's out of this game, which... what?
TSL Polt making that miracle comeback. I would have called GG if it was my game or something, but I guess Polt's a much better Terran than I. Much better Zerg too. Probably.
Oh man. Okay, so we made the call a couple minutes ago. What was the turning point there, do you think? Where did Stephano go wrong, and maybe where did TSL Polt go right?
I'd like to see him... I mean, Polt was able to push really, really well and snipe this 3rd and 4th base, leaving Stephano only on not even 1 with the mineral patches he has left. And then Broodlords going out too far into the middle without enough fungals to hold the Marines back. That was a bit risky. His 3rd base had just finished. If he could have saturated that and just held on a little bit longer, Polt was about to mine out. Polt's basically all inning at this point because of how little economy he has. He doesn't have another command center on the way or anything. So, because it was basically just Polt transitioning into an all-in push, executed it really well. Stephano making a few bad engagements, but...
Was Stephano wrong to take his 5th and 6th base?
Grabbing both could have been part of the risk in this game, but given how much of a lead he had, and with that infestor broodlord composition, you should have extra minerals because how gas heavy it is. I don't mind it too much. I think it was more just the engagements than the double expand.
And I really feel like the upgrades from TSL Polt contributed to this game, like just immensely. We saw Millennium Stephano engage time and time again with what seemed like a much bigger army, but the Lings just died before they even made contact. They pretty much disappeared. Do you think that more focus on upgrades from Stephano would have been a better idea than trying to just pure outnumber him?
I definitely think upgrades could have helped, but with more upgrades, he would have had a smaller meat count, and Polt might have been able to push sooner and try and get something done, so you never really know. I think the upgrade count would affect too much on Stephano's side to call that one way or the other.
Do you think Muta was even the right choice against this army composition from Polt?
I would have preferred to see him do Infestor Ling early in the opening, just because of the easier transition into Broodlords, and getting stuck on that lair tech can be very bad. But he just tried to do mutas this game, which mutas they still obviously work, and you can do huge economy plays and just swarming them more than Infestor Ling, but I don't know. In this game, I would have liked to see earlier Broodlords, which with Infestor Ling is easier to do.
Fair enough. Alright guys, you guys asked for Zerg. I gave you a Zerg game with a Zerg player helping me commentate, and I hope that helped you guys enjoy the channel a little bit more. I'm SSNYorosmai. I'm here with Yorosmai. Yorosmai, any last words?
Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. That's a great caster.
Yo, oh, hey baby. In a couple minutes we'll be alone, and I'll turn off the mic just for you. You can say whatever you like. But no, guy, he's right. Hit subscribe if you're not subscribed already. That thumbs up button as well. Both you and Corinne, SSNYorosmai being you and Corinne being SSN Spite, have live feeds. What do you call that now? Streaming. What do the cool kids call that? It's a stream.
Yeah, I guess. I think it's just a stream. I don't think there's any like cool lingo for it.
Anyway, yeah, I'll put links to those in the description. You guys can check those out if you guys are interested. Both those players are SSN, and they both play Zerg. So if you're a Zerg player watching my channel and you're like, there's a whole lot of Protoss here, you go check that out. All right, guys, I'll see you guys next time.